can't do all of that.
We are back. We're going to quote Wikipedia. We can do that. Allison Fields, we were talking about some of the tick-borne illnesses and things like this during the break, and you said there's actually one tick or flea where if you get bitten, chigger, someone could become allergic to red meat. And I had heard about that. Have you heard about that?
Beef and pork.
Beef and pork, possibly allergies because of a tick bite?
Yes. Bites from the Lone Star tick or the chigger, which transfer this carbohydrate to the victim, have been implicated in the development of this delayed allergic response, which is triggered by the consumption of mammalian meat products.
Wow. I wonder how long it lasts.
It can come on like years later. I've actually met somebody, let's see, in the southern United States where the tick is most prevalent, allergy rates are 32% higher than elsewhere. However, as doctors are not required to report the number of patients suffering from this, the true number is unknown. But it makes you allergic to beef and pork, which, you know, I would die if I couldn't have bacon. I mean, would that not just be the most, I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bacon.
I know.
I could do without the red meat. I could survive.
But bacon,
and I could.
I love bacon.
I know.
Well, you can always get
horrible.
turkey bacon.
That's true.
Yeah, turkey bacon.
But yeah, it's really interesting. I've met somebody who has it, and he was bitten by a tick, and I can't remember how long afterwards, but it was a bit of time, and yeah, he like horribly ill when you eat red meat or pork. Horribly ill.
I wonder if it goes away or if you can get treatment for it.
I don't know. I think they said that you wait like you'd go a couple years and you don't eat any, and then you can challenge yourself again. But do you want your EpiPen by you on that?
No, if it gets that. Yeah, that kind of allergy.
I think so.
Wow. Well, yeah. If you, anytime you get bit by a tick, and you and I both talked about, we had ones this week. I mean, I monitor the location if it's on my leg or whatever, just to see if it develops or if I have any weird symptoms. I just watch it. Knock on wood, that hasn't happened yet. But boy, let's go to Paula. Hi, Paula. Paula, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, what can we do for you?
Just talking about your two dogs. What about mashed potato?
Mashed potato's doing great. She's coming along fine. You follow mashed potato?
Oh, yeah.
I have an update for you on her. Yeah, we've had her for a year now from the animal rescue, which we're always talking about. If you get a dog, adopt one from a rescue or a shelter. But yeah, she's got those 3 legs. And, you know, the funny thing about it, Paula, is when we first got her, I told you, like a lot of Chihuahuas, and she didn't have good care, but she has no teeth. And I was asking Allison, you know, what do we feed her? That's one reason we named her Mashed Potato. But you said, Nick, put some kibble, small kibble down for her and watch what happens. And you were right. She will go up and eat. You know, little, now she likes, we give her some moist, you know, science diet food or whatever as well with that.
But she eats them.
She'll eat it. So that means she swallows. Does that mean she has, does her digestive system have to be stronger to digest the chunks having not been chewed, or is that not an issue at all?
Look at most dogs. They don't chew it. They just, like, have you ever seen a dog vomit their food? It comes back whole. They haven't chewed it. They just swallowed it.
Yeah, you're right. And
I know.
They don't chew it. So do they really?
Some chew.
Do dogs taste their food?
Oh, I think so.
Rocky doesn't.
No, Rocky's a pug. Pugs don't taste food. They just eat it.
So when I try to make him a nice fancy dish,
he doesn't care. Put the kibble down.
You're absolutely right again.
This is a banner day. You have now said, I am right. I am absolutely right. You are always right. And sometimes you're right in one day.
Now, some animals will sometimes turn up their nose at certain foods.
Yes, yes. Yes, they will.
It's interesting, though, how they'll watch you eat something, whatever it may be. I could be eating broccoli and throw, like, the stalk on the ground. They eat the broccoli.
You could act like you're eating a bolt and throw it on the ground, and your Hoover would eat it.
Rocky would. Yeah, that's the thing that's dangerous about it. They'll eat anything.
No, I see I see a lot of pugs for eating inappropriate objects because they are the Hoovers of the dog world. You drop it, they eat it.
Rocky got into some garbage yesterday that was outside. They pulled it off, and he got into a box of old Alka-Seltzer. But he didn't tear through. Alka-Seltzer.
Maybe he was trying to help himself.
He didn't get to
Maybe he was trying to help himself from all the food that you'd given him over the weekend. I need help.
No,
I need some Alka-Seltzer.
He has slimmed down, and we're sticking to the dietary plan that you have said. All right, let's see. I want to, as we wrap things up here, just what have you seen in the clinic of late? Is there anything more that you want to hit people with? We've talked about flea and ticks. We think it's going to be busier. As it gets warm, of course, your water outside and all of that. But anything else that maybe's come your way that you want to touch on?
Not really. I mean,
rabies, no cases?
No, I haven't heard of it. Well, maybe I have heard of a couple adults that came down with rabies. But the last I heard on the news or something was a fairly high number, 3, 4, in, I want to say Davidson County, or at least close Middle Tennessee, that have been found, wildlife that have rabies.
Okay.
So it has just been, you know, rabies clinics in most counties happen in March or April, and it's very important to get your dog vaccinated for rabies. It's important for them to have a good annual exam and your other core vaccinations as well, such as distemper parvo, bordetella. You know, distemper, I think I've only seen maybe 2 cases in the past 10 years because we've done such a good job of getting rid of it, and in the 70s and 80s they started really having some vaccination pushes for that. But just like with, you know, whooping cough in people, you know, we almost eradicated it from the United States, and then all of the anti-vaxxers were like, oh, we don't need this vaccination, and now there's lots of cases and children have died from whooping cough on the West Coast because they haven't been getting the vaccination. So even though it's gone, it's still important for them to get those core vaccinations, distemper, parvo, both of which will kill a dog. And, you know, so they're core vaccinations, and there's also a good annual exam, get their heart listened to, their teeth looked at, you know, feel their bellies, lymph nodes, all of that stuff, look at their teeth, which is all really important to see if we can't help their health so they live longer to keep you company.
Well, no question about it. As far as this time of year, too, when the grass and everything comes up, I've told you, Beetlejuice has contact dermatitis, and so we have some allergy meds sometimes that we give him. There was a time, too, the veterinarian said you could give him some Benadryl, and it seemed to help. But that is where he likes laying in the grass, even though he knows that's what makes his whole tummy turn red.
Right.
Which, is that allergy related from the grass itself, or from pollen that lands on the grass?
Unknown. Probably the grass.
You know, I was going to say, we had that big story about a month ago or so where there was a tractor trailer hauling bees that rolled over and they all burst out there. And I just remember being out there covering it. Oh, I did actually. I didn't get into it and help, but they used my bee suits to help. And I was out there covering it, but I remember seeing a dog walking by that just got lit up by the bees. Now, it didn't kill him and they didn't swarm, and and honeybees don't do this, but he was trotting by and you could tell, boom, 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 and he started taking off in general. And I've had one of our pugs have gotten stung in the face and swelled up a bit. But just like humans, bee sting's going to hurt. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a reaction in a dog, like same in a human, right?
Correct, and it depends where they get stung. I mean, if they got stung several times on their neck and they got a lot of swelling, it could constrict their airway. But I don't think that I've ever seen a dog who's had an anaphylactic reaction to an insect bite or sting. But I do see them probably 4 or 5 a year that come in and their poor little faces are just
They learn fast because they're in there sticking their nose in it, and then some of them snap at these bees, and every once in a while they get lucky and get one, and they get zapped on the tongue. They learn not to do that again. Let's go to William real quick. Hi, William.
Yes.
Good morning. Go ahead, Will.
I wanted to ask the vet about rabies vaccinations. In the West Coast, they vaccinate for 3 years. Here in Tennessee, it's only for 1 year. What's the difference?
Well, actually, here in Tennessee, we can do a 1 year or a 3 year. With the rabies clinics, we do a 1 year because the West Coast does not have the environment that is endemic with rabies like we do here. The Southeast has more cases of wildlife having rabies than pretty much anywhere else in the country. So rabies is a very big human health concern in the Southeast because we have a higher chance of getting an animal that has rabies and spreading it. The recommendations are that puppies between the ages of like 14 weeks and 6 months of age get a 1 year rabies. Our practice recommends they get another 1 year rabies on their first year annual exam, and then after that, if the owner chooses to, we'll go to a 3 year vaccination for that. They still have to come in once a year for their other vaccinations and an exam, but we in the South are just a little more cautious about making sure that everyone is well vaccinated for rabies because it is such a human health concern.
Oh boy, it's a scary one. I go on a jogging run, and there's a house there that has this. It's a little black, like Chihuahua type thing. I've seen it since it's been a puppy. Every time I run by, and the owner to me is a buffoon because he just lets the dog run out in the middle of the road.
I hope he's not watching.
That's all right. That's what he is. I mean, because this little dog runs out into the road every time, and I'm jogging, and he chases me. Now, it's just a sweet little dog, but I'm just, it's one of, like you said, the little ones are yappy, yappy. And he'll chase me, and nothing changes. I'm sure he does that to every person that walks by this house, but I'm just running by, because it's my route. And, I'm just thinking, if one of these times the dog jumps up and bites me and breaks skin, which he hasn't done, but you can tell he's yapping, what do I do? I guess I have to pick the dog up and go back and say, listen, just want to make sure, do you have rabies?
If he's already bitten you once, I probably wouldn't pick him up. I would probably just go to his house.
Okay, and just say, but I need to ask, does this dog have the rabies vaccine?
Well,
it's a small little dog, and the bite's not going to hurt me.
The other thing
But what if they don't have, what if the dog's not been vaccinated for rabies, and he's bit me in the leg?
Well, then there's options. Options are that the dog goes to rabies quarantine to see if he has rabies, and if he has rabies, then you go get the rabies prophylaxis. The other option is to test him for rabies, which does involve euthanasia.
Right. I don't want this dog to be harmed.
Right.
It's just, if he bites me, I want to make sure, because they let the dog roam about. I don't think he has rabies, but still.
So one of the things the other thing is animal control. With any dog bite, you call animal control, or if you call the police, they'll put you in touch with animal control, not the emergency number unless it's a mauling. Just the,
My only concern would be rabies, to be honest with you. If he nipped me, it's not going to hurt me.
I'd go knock on the door and be like, hey, I just want to know. Your dog chases me every day that I run. She's trying to bite me. Can I see your rabies vaccination so I don't have to worry about this anymore?
Yeah, because I'm not worried about that. It's a little thing, and I ignore it, and I run.
He's not going to maul you.
It's about this big, so it's not that I'm afraid of it at all, but I worry about.
Well, you should be afraid of rabies.
Yeah, I'm afraid of rabies.
It's a very bad disease. Yeah. You die.
And I have no reason to believe it hasn't, but it's just crazy. But again, once again, I know plenty of people that have dogs that end up running in the road, and if that's you, you're an irresponsible buffoon. End of story. You keep your dogs on a leash or in your yard, not running in the yard where they chase people or get hit by cars. Period. You're a buffoon if you allow that to happen. You're not a buffoon, and I like you.
I think you shouldn't have called him a buffoon until you went to talk to him.
Well,
because now he might not want to talk to you about the rabies.
That's all right. He sees me all the time on that. We'll see you soon, all right? Programming note right after this.